Often when we're doing history or theology, we talk about worldviews. Now, a worldview is not what you see, it's how you see it. When I put on a pair of spectacles, the worldview is framed by the spectacles, particularly when I forget that I'm wearing them. Now, the problem is that we in the Western world often think we are merely neutral observers, but in fact we've got a very thick set of spectacles which tell us what colour things are, what shape things are, what we're allowed to see and not to see. What history does for us is that it challenges. It makes us go cross-eyed, and it makes us say, my goodness, maybe I've got coloured spectacles. And then, very nervously, what happens if I take these off for a minute? What happens if I step outside the confines of the little box that I've been living in without even realizing it? Now, I think in our world, people do this in two different ways, and for me, history, and writing this big book particularly, has enabled me to try to stand outside those two ways. One is the way which says, we live in the modern world, so we know, because we have electric lights and modern medicine, we know that miracles don't happen, we know that the supernatural doesn't exist, and all of that stuff. And my history makes me say, hey, put that stuff on hold for a moment. Just supposing Jesus of Nazareth really did rise from the dead. Don't start by saying, did he walk on water? Don't start by saying, was he born of a virgin? If you start with those questions, you go round and round in circles and never get anywhere. Start by saying, how do you explain the rise of early Christianity? And if it comes back and says it was Jesus' resurrection, then you're going to have to hold your mind open to the fact that the world, as Shakespeare said, more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of in your philosophy. At the same time, there's a different group of people. Those who have got their Christian faith nicely sewn up in a spiritual, perhaps a supernatural package, which doesn't integrate with history, with politics, with all the rest of the reality of the world. And my study of Jesus has made me say, and I want to say to that group, you're going to have to hold your mind open as well, because Jesus lived in a world and died in a world where history and politics, the supernatural and the realities of life just belong together. Don't live in this split-level universe. It's much tougher to live in an integrated universe, but it's God's world, and Jesus invites you to join him in it.